Nolan now on, joining us from St. Louis, Missouri. Also another Midwest producer who's coming in fast, already focused on building a team, at the same time focused on selling at a super high level, rocking and rolling. Tim, how you doing today, buddy?
Good. How are you guys?
Good, man. Good. Happy to have you on here.
Thanks. Thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks for selling a bunch. Now being able to come on and teach people how to do it. That's what everyone's like, what's the magic sauce? Well, you just got to dial a phone and work hard. But I'd love it if you would, if you kind of give a little backstory, tell people, a little bit about you, where you are, where you're coming from.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks. Well, hey, how's everybody doing? Thanks for having me. Great to listen to Willis. I mean, I share a lot of the same sentiments and some of the message that you've been saying, Grady, as well. How I got introduced to FFL. So my business partner, we've been in business for 20 years and in this industry. And, we were running during Medicare season, October through December. And we were down in Arkansas and we were both kind of doing a little bit different thing. And we saw a lot of success from some old business partners that were at some other companies that had made the switch to FFL. And, we're reading it and we're down here running these Medicare appointments and everything. And we thought, we probably really need to reach out and find out what this Family First Life is all about. And, so I sent the email out to the corporate page and luckily, Grady, you reached out to me. I think I got a couple other emails from some other folks. And, after having a conversation with you and then obviously doing our due diligence, looking into the company a little bit more and reading some reviews and everything, it couldn't have been a better decision. Probably the best business decision I've made in the 20 years of being in the industry. And, never looking back, have had the foot on the gas from day one, getting through contracting and everything with all those carriers. I've been with a number of large carriers in the country for years. And I tell you what, I wish I would have been around when FFL started because, man, we're going in that direction now.
I love it, man. Will you extrapolate that on just a little bit more? Because I think that, when you respond to an ad and someone calls you and goes, hey, we can start you at 90%. We've got leads in your backyard. To like our new agents, that's normal. Like it's like, that's how it's supposed to be. Right. But I mean, someone like yourself, who's got such a pedigree in this industry, I'd love it if you could just give some comparison or clarity on how great that, just to maybe just refine your words.
Yeah, absolutely. So, just talking about the starting level of the commission with the company, it's street level in the industry is 40%, 50 maybe if you're lucky. So great higher level commissions are great point first. Secondly, and you mentioned it, it's the message that we all preach, and it's the message that we now as part of FFL, it's leads. There is unlimited lead sources for you to make your living. I mean, you're not going out and hunting. I mean, back in the day when I started, it was, hey, go talk to your brother, your sister, your mom, your dad, your grandma, your aunt, your uncle, all your friends you graduated high school with, so on and so forth. And you know what? They have been bombarded by people in the industry. And so having the lead sources that FFL provides, we were ready from day one to buy them and start going to those people, because those are people that have requested to see us. So being able to see us as agents, when people are asking to see us, it's what we have to do. The old saying of being a business owner and having that business owner mindset, you got to spend money to make money. And so from day one, the fact that we had those sources of leads, we've been buying leads every week. And that's what keeps us going. And that's how we're writing the business that we're writing.
I love it, man. Will you talk about the leads you're working? What kind of, and your experience with them versus, the past experience?
Yeah. So first of all, number one, instant internet leads, top priority. I'm searching my local area here in the state of Missouri, and then planning travel trips right after convention around the country. Instant internet leads are phenomenal. I've never had them in the years of in the industry. They're phenomenal. Also, a couple of the other lead vendors that we have partnerships with, Bang Bang, great. We're going to try Game Time. I remember reaching out to you last week, and Willis even mentioned that he loves Game Time. So we're going to reach out and try Game Time as well. So, a lot of great lead sources that FFL provides.
Sales process versus, Medicare, I mean, did you ever run L.I.F.E in the past, or did you run? I mean, how do you like the sales process here?
Yeah, so I ran L.I.F E for most of the 20 years. Medicare was just something that this past year somebody had mentioned about, hey, it can be very lucrative, and the residual income and everything. So we did that this year, and we had some really good success with it. The sales process here, having the simplified issue and the guaranteed issue policies, is unbelievable. I remember with one of the old carriers that I used to be with, I put an application in, and it took almost 90 days to get the client approved. They're asking for attending physician statements and so on and so forth. I mean, the process these people are asking us to help them. They're asking us to come see them. We go see them. We ask a lot of questions. We find out what their insurance need is, and we provide them solutions, you know? So it's not so much, well, we got to wait on 60 days. You got to have a nurse come to your house. It's a great sales process. The word tracks that we use and that we've learned from watching the videos, the training videos, it's a totally different ball game, and it's one that is allowing us to win and write a lot of business and help a lot of families, because that's what it's all about.
I love it. So I love it. You know, you with a track record of success. I love if you would share, some sales tips or insight, or however you structure your appointments, whatever you feel would be relevant for, a big group of agents.
Yeah, absolutely. So, one of the biggest things that a lot of agents, when they go into homes, I always try to get that emotional trigger when I'm sitting down with the client, regardless if they requested final expense, $10,000 policy or 20 or whatever. I like to go in and hit an emotional trigger point first. And so I actually go through a quick, and I'm just going to show you real quick, but I'm going to try to draw backwards. So I bring out my iPad because it's a great sales tool. And I say, let's find out how much insurance you actually need. Like, what is your need? Now, will they be able to afford that need? Maybe, maybe not. But it hits that emotional trigger with them to allow them to understand that they need something. Okay. So I literally draw L-I-F-E, L-I-F E. And that stands for, I'm not going to write it out here, but loans, income replacement, final expense, and education. So, Grady, if you or your spouse didn't make it home last night, what loans would you want to make sure are paid off so that the burden isn't left to your spouse? Write that number down.
Let's do it. So 185,000 for my home.
Okay, so 185,000. Are there any other loans? Is there any other debt? Credit cards, cars, boats?
2 cars, one's 17, one's 23. So 40,000 for 2 cars.
All right, so we got 185 and 40,000. Any other credit card debt or anything that you would like to have paid off if you didn't make it home tomorrow night?
Probably 6,000 in credit card debt.
Okay, so 6,000. All right, so in loans, we have about $230,000. Okay, now, Grady, and this is a question that a lot of people in the industry are not comfortable asking: income replacement. So you have to look at each spouse and you have to say, Grady, how much money do you make a year? And just, God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth. Be quiet, don't answer it for them. And they'll say $50,000. Okay, and then you turn to the spouse and you ask them. Okay, so, and normally this is where I pivot to the female in the relationship, and I'll say, okay, Joan, if Grady doesn't make it home tomorrow night and he makes $50,000 a year, how many years do you want to replace the income that is not going to be coming in anymore? Because right now, Joan, you guys are used to $50,000 of his income being part of your lifestyle. So if you don't want to change your lifestyle for you and the kids, how much do you want? How many years do you want that? Now, a lot of people, Joan, will say, well, I want it forever. We don't know when forever is going to be, but the average is probably 3 to 5 years. Which do you want? And she'll say 3. Okay, 150,000. Okay, now final expense. We said Grady didn't make it home tomorrow night. Unfortunately, he didn't make it home. Final expense. What type of final expenses do you want to take care of? Do you want to just take care of a funeral, a traditional funeral, a cremation? Do you want to throw a big party for Grady to celebrate his life? What do you want to be under the final expense? And this is where they say 20,000, 30,000, whatever it might be. Write that number down. And I said, okay, Grady and Joan, you have these two wonderful kids here. If tragedy happens, do you want to put any funding towards their education to help, if you're not here, to help pay for any schooling? Some people say, no, they can get loans, they can do whatever they want. Some people say, yep, you know what? We have two kids. I want to give 50,000 a kid. Great. So I write that number down. So we have 100,000. So then I add these numbers up, and let's say that number is 700,000. And then I'll say, how much life insurance do you have? I don't ask, do you have life insurance? Because what can they say? No, yes. How much do you have? And they might say, well, I have 50 at work. Okay, outside of work, how much do you have? And they'll say none. Or if they say, well, I've got a $100,000 policy. Let's just use that as an example. So you have 100,000. So your need is $600,000. Now my job as the field underwriter is to figure out how we can get you that number or as close as possible without taking food off your table on a monthly basis. I do not want to take food off your table. I want to make sure that this is in the budget and we can get you the most amount of insurance to get you towards that need. Because 50% of something is better than 100% of nothing, right? So let's get something in place today so that you feel rest easy at night, that if Grady doesn't make it home tomorrow night, you're going to have something. And that's kind of how I get that emotional trigger, because now they're thinking, my gosh, because these aren't my numbers. I wasn't the salesman walking in saying, hey, you need $600,000 worth of life insurance. I asked all these questions and you gave me the answer. And so, you know, it really sets in with them. Now, are they going to buy 600,000? Maybe, maybe not. But we could probably get them 250 simplified issue and then stack a couple other different types of policies or accidental. So you've hit that emotional nerve. And that's kind of my biggest thing with when we're in the home, is really going through this process, which takes about 5 minutes.
That's awesome, Tim. That is awesome. Drop a fire in the comments below if Tim just, no, drop life in the comments below if Tim just changed your life. That was legit. Because we're always looking for creative ways to, you know, you would sit down, you know, why'd you fill this out? I mean, those are all great ways, but this is a way where, I mean, they're answering 7, 8, 9, 12 questions where they're thinking about death and then giving you a number that needs to be replaced if death happens. Death number, like I was getting emotional. I was like, oh shit, I need to buy more life insurance for my wife right now. I was like, I'm like, you're like, I mean, you know, did anyone else feel that? Like, it was like a very real way, because these are real things that attack. I mean, I got my kids and they're my loans and they're my house. And that was excellent, Tim. Thank you very much for sharing. Is there anything else like that you can share with us today?
Thank you.
Any closing lines? Any, you know, or like Willis shared some sort of urgency. I mean, we can all do a good open. This is a great open, but there's anything that like maybe you say tactfully that helps move the client, just, you know, 600 can't do 600 and I want to think about it. Okay, can we do 300? We can probably do 300 and then moving them. What are some, you know, some sort of closing?
Sure. You know, one of the biggest things I say, you know, somebody says, you know, I do use the line that I mentioned, you know, what's not going to take food off your table? Yep. You know, and if somebody says, well, I need to think about it, I say, well, let me ask you a question. You know, do you ever go out to eat? Yep. How many times do you go out to eat? Or I'll even use the Starbucks. I used to call it the latte factor. Somebody says, I don't know if I can do this. I need to think about it. Great. Let me ask you a question. Do you go to Starbucks or do you go buy coffee? Yeah. How many times do you go a week? Probably 3. How much do you spend every time you go get a frate, no whip, heavy this, soy milk, you know, I mean, all that kind of stuff. Oh, $5. So you're spending $15 a week on fancy coffee. So you're spending what, $60 a month? I'm asking you to spend 65 or 40 or whatever the number is. Could you do me a favor and could you go buy a pound of Folgers once a month and not buy Starbucks? And guess what? You're going to protect your family. You said that it was important to you earlier, right? So that's going to protect your family. Let me make it another way. Do you have $2 a day that you spend on something, maybe a soda at the gas station or something like that? I'm asking you to spend $2 a day to protect what matters most to you and your family. so that if tragedy happens, you're going to be able to stay the same lifestyle. You have a beautiful home. You know, I'll reference different things like that. You have a beautiful home. You don't want to have to get rid of this, do you? You know, when your husband's gone, you want to make sure that you're protecting what you've built. And so just, again, emotional, ask them a question and shut up.
I love it. Will you go through life one more time? A lot of people are asking, they just missed it. What do the
Yeah,
4 words mean?
absolutely. So L, loans, any type of loan, mortgage debt, car loans, boat loans, credit card debt, student loans, anything that somebody would want paid off when they're gone. Okay. The I, income replacement. If you're sitting there with a couple, you want to make sure that you talk about both of their incomes. Always assume that both people work. Make them tell you, no, I don't work. No, I'm the stay-at-home dad. I'm the domestic engineer, whatever. Go through on both of them. Income replacement is the I. F, final expense. It's what we're called there for, final expense. But we don't want to just focus on the final expense. We want to focus on everything in their life, okay? And E is education. Any type of education funding for their kids, their grandkids, their great-grandkids, anything about educational funding, that's what the E stands for. So that's where I get the L.I.F.E acronym to use for finding out how much.
The education is almost like a legacy too. Do you want to leave your grandkids a little bit of money? Do you want to, you know, your niece, your nephew, you don't have anyone you care about? Well, you still got these other 3 things, L, I, and F, that we went over. We found some sort of a need. So Tim, that was tremendous. I want to appreciate you for coming on and sharing. I'd love it if you would just, you know, round out I know you're working on, you're building a team with us. You start from day one, hiring from day one. You're giving away, you know, you're taking everyone 5 points below you and doing all you can to pay it forward, giving people an opportunity. But I just love to hear your vision and excitement about building a team here at FFL.
You know, I'm glad you brought that up. Building a team from day one was one of my focus. If you do not have a recruiter, hire one. Hire a staff. Our recruiter, wonderful person, and we came up with this idea just this past week. So we have business cards for her. If you don't know how to make a QR code for your landing page to recruit where they get to watch the video, guys, create a QR code, put it on the back of your recruiter's business card, and make sure that they hand this out to every person they see. Hey, you looking for a career opportunity? They scan the QR code on the back of the card. It takes them directly to your video link. You're going to start getting people, talking to you, and you're going to be able to reach out to people and say, hey, I saw you watched our video, and you can start the conversation from a recruiting standpoint. So we just got these in this week. We made a QR code. There's a QR generator out there online. Create a QR code to your personal link and hand this out to everybody you see. So if you're in a restaurant, leave it on the table, tell them to scan this QR code when they get off work, find out about a great career opportunity.
I like it. How many people you got coming to convention with you?
We're targeting 20 people, if not more.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been great. Last thing, let me just put one more plug out there. Well, 2 more plugs real quick. Referrals, guys. Every time you're in the home after you make the sale, ask them. So you know what? You mentioned your son, your daughter, your grandkids. You know what? You have any brothers or sisters? You know, you mentioned them. I'd love to help them if you think they would benefit from a conversation similar to this. What are their names? And just get your pen ready. You mentioned Joe. You mentioned Susie. What's their phone number? Could you do me a favor and text them and tell them I'm going to be calling them in 24 hours? Referrals are free leads, guys. You got to use them. And then finally, hey guys, everybody, 2020 convention. We're excited. We're going to Kansas City. I know it's sold out. Hopefully to see some of you guys there. Check out the Facebook page also. I put an invite out there for anybody that wants to go to dinner on Thursday. And hey guys, when you go to a convention, I'm sure everyone on here has been to some type of big sales convention. The convention's great. You're going to be pumped, like Grady said. What you do with the information you gather after the convention is key. You can go to a convention and think it's a great little fun weekend getaway. You're going to meet a lot of people. You're going to meet new tactics. You're going to see new sales ideas. It's what you do after it when you leave convention. Get back in the house, get back in the office, and take something from convention and implement it into your business. Use that business owner mindset.
I love it, Tim. Appreciate you. Let's drop a 5 in the comments below for Tim and his life training and his referral recommendation, because if they're free leads, the best leads money can't buy. So,
right.
Tim, appreciate you, my man. Thank you for coming on. Appreciate all you shared. Look forward to seeing you. I love it. Cheering you on, man. So is everybody else. Appreciate you. Have a great day.
You